Hello and welcome to another Battletech video. This is part 2 in an ongoing beginner's primer that I'm doing. Today I'll be discussing the Mech Lab and how to build mechs. Now before we go into that, I would like to show you the command center where we get contracts for our missions. Now whenever I build a mech or repair it or modify a mech, I always want to make sure that it coincides with my travel time. So if we look at these top two planets right here, they both have right here where it says this contract includes travel to Pilpala for 21 days. So when I make a mech, I want to make sure that it finishes or completes its repairs within that 21 days, so preferably before. So 20 to 21 days maximum. So now that I know what my expected travel time is, then I go into the mech bay and then I start building and modifying my mechs as I go along, and I make sure not to exceed that 21-day time period. Now before we get into that, a quick little trick that you might not know about is if you hold Control Shift U, you can remove the GUI so you can see what the mech looks like in its entirety, and then Control Shift U again to bring back the GUI. Now the mech that we'll be talking about today for demo purposes will be the Highlander 732B. So we're gonna go ahead and click that. If it was damaged, if the internal structure or some of the components were damaged, there would be a repair button here. And if anything big was damaged that you couldn't just quickly repair, you might have to click the refit. But if you want to start modifying, you might as well click refit anyway. But before that, you can see here that this very specific mech has a maximum of 2 ballistic, 3 energy, 2 missile, and 3 support hardpoints. And it can also have a maximum jump of 3 movement. Also, the storage button will show you what mechs you have in storage. You can sort them by light, medium, and heavy. And if you have any partial salvage, it'll tell you. So this right here, this Battlemaster BLR1G, I currently only have 1 out of 3 salvage, so I don't have a full mech. But this BLR1G over here is fully created. For components, you can click that and you can see what type of inventory you might have sitting in the background. Now I rarely click this button here, so I don't really look at it. As you can see, it takes a long time to load once you start having a lot of equipment, and you're going to look at that anyway while you're building your mech. So let's go back to the base button and let's start refitting, shall we? So now keep in mind, as many mechs as you have in your mech base, you'll have to pay for them on the monthly financial chart. So I try to store any mechs that I don't plan on using. So that's why you didn't see any of my medium or my heavies or my lights. They're currently locked up in storage because I don't want to pay the maintenance fee. So here we are. We're looking at the mech sheet. And if you wanted to change the name, you can change it by clicking right here in the top left corner. I'm going to rename it to Robot. So just so you can see that the name will change to Robot. And then here, these are the different components of the mech. Now, if you wanted to, you can repair everything that's damaged. If you needed to actually replace components, there'll be extra buttons right here that says like replace the torso or whatnot. Now, any equipment that's destroyed, you'll have to manually slide it in and fix it yourself. So that's the repair all button. If you wanted to max armor, you can click that. So let's say I had an extra ton, I can click max armor and it'll try its best to use up all that tonnage. And it'll fill up all these armor slots. If I was to strip armor, it would make them all blank, and I can plus or minus manually if I wanted to. Now if I wanted to strip all this equipment, I can click strip equipment and it will all remove it. Now if I was to press this button, that would undo all those changes, but I'm not going to do that because there's a lot of equipment that I would need to replace, and the game will lag a bit trying to fill that all up. So now let's take a look at ballistics, because it said that we can have up to 2. So I'm going to turn off these other 3 weapons, so only my ballistics are listed. Now let's say I wanted to equip this AC-20 over here. So I'll click it, and you'll notice that only the right arm is highlighted. That means I can't put it in anything but this right arm. So if I tried to put it in the right torso, as you can see, it cannot add AC-20++ to right torso. So it can only go in the right arm. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and drag it in. And it says here that I can equip up to 2. So I'll go ahead and do that so you can see. There we go. And now it's I've used all my ballistic hard points in the right arm. Now let's remove that. Let me put AC-10s in. So even though I have 2 critical slots open, I still wouldn't be able to put this AC-2 in there. As you can see, even though it's highlighted, it's not as bright as it normally would be, as you can see there. Now if I wanted to put in energy weapons, as you can see here, let's say I wanted to put PPCs there. As you can see, only the right torso is lit up. Now if I wanted to put missiles, let's say I wanted to put a LRM-20, you'll see now both of these are highlighted. So that means I can put it in the left torso as well as the left arm if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and put an LRM-20 in that left torso. Let's go ahead and grab another LRM-20. So as you can see, this left torso, even though it's lit up, it's a bit dim, whereas this left arm is fully bright, which means I can still put it in the left arm but not the left torso. There we go. Now if you wanted to equip missiles or ballistic or even machine guns, you need to put ammo for them as well. So right now I have LRMs there, so if I want to use these weapons, I need to put ammo in them. So here we go, we have an LRM ammo, and if you look here, LRM ammo or all ammo takes up 1 ton and 1 slot, but for this very specific one, for LRM ammo, it has enough rounds for 120 missiles. So that means, you know, both of these LRM-20s will each take up 20 ammo per shot. So if I was to fire both of them, it would use 40 ammo of this 120, which means if I only have 1 ton, I'm only gonna get 3 rounds of fire. So I want to make sure I have a lot of ammo, enough ammo to last a long period of time. Now, as you can see here, I have 70.13 tons used up out of 19, which means I have 19.88 tons. Now if you wanted to make that a nice even number, you can go and remove armor as you see fit. So here you go, now I got it to a fresh 70, which means I have 20 remaining. And then here, if you look, this will list all the things that it has. So firepower, the more weapons you put on, the greater the bar will be. But also at the same time, as you add weapons, your heat efficiency is going to change. So you want to make sure you have heat sinks in order to increase your heat efficiency. So you want to weigh both of those together. So if we go to equipment, this middle bar is heat sinks. So as you can see, I can put heat sinks pretty much anywhere along the mech, and that'll improve the heat efficiency of the mech. Now, if I was to use lasers tend to be, or energy weapons, tend to run the hottest. So the more energy weapons you have, the more heat sinks you're going to need to run to offset that. Now the benefit of having lasers and PPCs is they don't have ammo. So you can just equip them and they can fire indefinitely. So as you can see, equip some PPCs, and here you go, my heat efficiency is getting worse and worse with every PPC that I put in. So, and now here, if I had equipped these 3 PPCs and these 2 LRMs with all the ammo and heat sinks, you'll notice I am 6 tons overweight. So I have to cut some tonnage in order to make this mech usable. So if I was to cut a PPC, there you go, I still have 1 ton remaining. There you go, now I'm 90 out of 90. Now there are some things that don't take up tonnage. So if we look here, if we go into the equipment tab on the far right, these are mods. Now mods can be really powerful, and I try to use as many as I can that are free, as long as I have the critical slots open for it. So here in the head, I can put things like cockpit mod. So something like this increases my injury resist to my pilot by 2, and that's really, really strong. Another thing I could put in are these comm systems. They also go in the head, as you can see by the yellow bar. And the way the comm systems work is they can give you morale. And morale is used when you want to use your special abilities like precision shot and sensor lock, things like that. So having morale gain can really help a lot. Gyros are also really powerful. Something like this one, where is it? Like this, it can go in the center torso. It takes up 3 slots generally, and this one it it can have -20 stability damage taken, which is really powerful. And they can get better. You can get up to like 30% and maybe even higher, but I haven't seen anything higher. But also, some of these mods do take tonnage. A good example is like this leg mod right here. As you can see in this box right down here, it takes up 3 tonnage and 3 slots and can only be equipped in the legs. Another one that is heavy are things like targeting computers. So something like this, once again, 3 tonnage for 2 slots, but that can increase my accuracy for the type of weapon. This very specific one increases ballistic by 3 accuracy. They also have arm mods. These also take up tonnage. Something like this takes up 4 tons, I believe, and 2 slots, but it yields plus 30 melee stability damage. Some of them also can do regular damage, which is nice. See right here, 40 melee damage, but these ones are really heavy. Take up 6 tons. There you go. And as you can see here, I'm like super way overweight. So let's take some of those off. Now, also another thing, if you wanted to put jump jets, this mech can hold up to 3 jump jets. That's right here. Now, jump jets are weight are determined by the weight class. So an assault mech, to equip 1 jump jet, it takes up 2 tons each. And as you can see here, I equipped 1 and it takes 1 out of 3. That means it can move 3 movement points total if I had all 3 equipped, as you can see there. But if I only have 1 equipped, then I can only move 1 when I jump. Now, personally, jump jets, I think jump jets are really powerful, but I rarely have the tonnage available to fit them on assault mechs. I tend to like them on small and medium mechs, and sometimes on some heavies, but when I run assault mechs, I rarely use it, especially since a lot of the time I'm just going to stand in place and fire. But as you can see here, this mech is completely legal. So we'll go ahead and finalize. So when you want to finalize, you can hit confirm. If you don't like what you've done, you can hit this back button and that'll avert all the changes that you've made. But we'll go ahead and confirm this, and then that'll be it. So here we go. As you can see right here, it's going to take 9 days to build. So in those 9 days, I cannot use this mech, but I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. And that is under my 23 days of travel time. So I could go ahead and modify more mechs as I see fit, and it would be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well, just so you can see one more thing. So just give it a second to finalize saving. And then let's go ahead and modify a second mech real quick. So I'm going to modify this Highlander right here, which is a separate Highlander. This current one is completely stripped out. I just pulled it out of storage. And keep in mind, it does take time to pull a mech out of storage so that your engineers can prep it and make it usable. So as you can see, it's completely empty. Now, I'm going to equip one weapon here. I'm just going to put a laser in there, and I'm going to confirm that. And this will take only 1 day to do. And the reason why I want to show you this is because after you have all your mechs completed and ready to go, in case you don't have enough time to fix all of them by the time you reach your destination, you can actually reorder them in your work queue. So as you can see over here, if I wanted to have my Highlander finished before my new mech that I changed to robot, I can hit this manage task button right over here, and this is really important. So I can click it and I can move them around. So robot is the first mech I worked on, and let's say I don't want it ready just yet. I want this mech right here to be finished before robot gets finished. So I can move robot down, I can move robot up, or however I want to move it around. And in case I wanted to cancel what I was doing, let's say I don't want to do that anymore. I want to refit it to a different way. I can click the X button. Are you sure you want to stop this cast? You will be refunded 10,400. Go ahead and confirm that, and it's no longer in the work queue. As you can see there, I'm going to go ahead and close this task manager, and the computer is going to there we go. And as you can see right here, robot is completely empty. What that means is it didn't revert the changes. What it did is it went to how the mech was without weaponry. Because I originally, before I started adding things to it, I removed all its equipment. Well, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for, or stay updated with my future videos that I post. Thank you so much, and you have a good day. Take care.